go.
The photo that you showed me in the folder that you have at home has a woman standing in traditional dress. It's a black and white photo. It's not very big. Is that Minnie? Or is that Elizabeth?
That is her mother.
That's Elizabeth?
Yeah.
Lizzie? Before you left for Korea, you were living with Grandma.
Yes.
Was it hard for her to move around, or was she in pretty good shape?
She was getting that way. She was getting that way because that's about when I graduated from high school. And then I went into military service. But when I seen her later after I came back and got to finish my tour of duty and everything, she had aged a lot. And at a meal, she told us then that she didn't have many years left. She said, how she put it, she just said that we had to start thinking about making a home for ourselves.
Mm. Did she ever tell any stories? Like when I grew up, I heard all kinds of stories from traditional people because I was raised among traditional people. I could tell you all kinds of stories.
Yeah.
But did she ever tell you stories about anything that might have been handed down to her that she can remember? Because we got all kinds of boogeyman stories in our family.
Yeah, well, she didn't have so much of those. She just kind of never really had any stories to tell me about her childhood, you know.
Because she left early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she tan hide when she was when you were young?
Can she what?
Did she tan hides or make
Oh,
leather or stuff like that?
No, see, I don't know. As far as I know, she didn't do any of that stuff. Most of her training came when they shipped her away to school. As far as like home things, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Did she do any beating? I mean,
She didn't do it. No, she didn't do any of that stuff. I never did understand why. But I guess it was because of her environment where she was placed in the homes and they were forbidden to do that stuff.
do you think it was a sterile environment where where her life was, as a young child, was suppressed in a situation she was in at school?
Yeah, definitely. I think that was the case. And her schooling there pertained to their idea of necessary tools of livelihood, you know, that were useful and that she would need in her pathway to growing up and maturing, like such as cooking and baking and making types of holidays, you know, food, pies and cakes and so forth, homemade type of things. And those were the things that she learned in the Mormon homes that she grew up in.
Do you know anything else about Lizzie that you can remember that Grandma might have brought up? What she was like, where she liked to go, what she liked to eat, anything like that? Just simple little things.
Yeah. She just said that she just told me that her mother would just go northeast up to a different reservation, and I guess her parents had lived up there in Montana, and stay a while and then come back down to the Pine Ridge Reservation. So she traveled back and forth periodically as a young person, a young teenager, and then her young years into maturity.
So she had relatives on another reservation?
Yes,
And both grandmas were Sioux?
yeah,
So they might have been from two different Sioux tribes
yeah,
or more?
yeah. My grandmother, it was, my grandmother was just a mixed,
French?
yeah.
French, Sioux?
Yeah. And her mother was a traditional type person.
Do you think she had mixed blood?
I saw pictures of her. She didn't look like it, so I don't know.
No,
She
nobody ever
never
brought her
talked
up.
about it, so.
Oh. Do you think Minnie, your grandmother, had a good life?
It seemed to be pretty good.
Was she a happy person?
She seemed to be pretty happy. She was kind of sort of religious oriented. Not in the religion that she grew up in, but the one that she chose to focus on, and her Bible reading and fellowship with other clergymen and stuff that would come and visit with her. Even over as years went on, you know, she never did turn anybody away. She always was courteous to them and listened to their perspective and their religion, everything. Left them with good memories and was, you know, really like nice to them and everything. That was just her attitude.
Did she make your clothes? Or did she buy them? Or did you guys get them from the school that you went to school when you were prior to high school?
No, she didn't. She guess she bought them. I know she used to order some when we were in high school from the catalog, but she may have been able to make clothing from her training in the homes that she lived in as a teenager, and the types of dresses that she wore and everything. But she was taught all of the homemaking, home economics classes and stuff that we looked at today. But she did those were taught those in the homes that she lived in as a sort of, she's a working type maid for her boarding room. That's how she put it, how she told me.
The house that you lived in with Grandma, where did that house come from? Who built it?
Her husband.
And what was his name?
He was Joe Lessert,
Yeah.
and he was mostly French. He was a Frenchman.
Do you remember him?
Vaguely.
No, he was real young then. Oh, you were real young.
Yeah, I was little.
Oh. You think she was with him a long time?
Yeah, they were married until he died. And he died after they both retired from government service, and so, you know, she was devastated because her family all began to disappear from her life.
His family?
Her family.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. How old do you think she was then? when he
She was
passed?
probably just in her middle 60s or late 60s.
Oh, she lived another 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Was she alone all that time?
Her youngest daughter, Maxine, stayed with her. It was her youngest daughter out of 5 children she had. She had the daughters, and she had 2 sons and 3 daughters. And the oldest son passed away and was buried in Market, South Dakota. And the other 4, the oldest daughter left remaining was my mother, Ruth.